I pray you listen to these words, and I hope you see the meaning. Snap if you like it, hoot if you can feel it. But most importantly, listen. This is the conversation between my father and I. Yo, what is the problem? This wasn't supposed to happen. I trusted you. I spoke well of you. I loved and followed you even when it wasn't cool and I was judged and I was laughed at and I was isolated and alone. And now this? Who would have imagined snow, ice, and a tree would make all this noise? But my life, yo, Father, people need to know that my life, it changed in second. I was crying funeral tears. I was looking to you, and the SWAT team was arrived, surrounding me, trying to bring me to safety. And of course, I screamed, but I was trapped in steel body panels, and I was imprisoned in this prison-like cell. You mean forever? I mean forever, ever. And it was crazy because the dude in the OR, that medical professional, he told me that I should have died in that car accident. He said there must be angels around somewhere because you should have died in that accident. And trying to be honest, that dude was right. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here in this prison-like cell and these prison-like smells and these funky kind of death smells. So what am I doing here? It's a hospital, and I met this lady, this older woman. We shared this cell together, and we were divided by a curtain. It's crazy because her situation was a little bit different than mine. She could only say yes and no. Words and vocabulary were taken from her. But I can tell and I can feel that she was really hurting deep down in her core, but it was this one night, right? It was like cough, spit up, cough, spit up, cough, 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 spit up. And I woke up and I asked her, I said, do you need help? And she said, yes. So I called the nurses, and they brought in their hazmat team with their hand sanitizer, meaning their hands were almost clean in that second night. It was the same thing. It was like cough, spit up, cough, spit up, cough, 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 spit up. And then I woke up, and I asked her, I said, do you need help? And of course she said yes. I called the nurses, and they helped her. It was like my spirit and my soul were fighting within each other, and I was really confused because all I wanted to do was tell them about you, but I really didn't want to be too pushy. So I laid my flesh down and I listened to my spirit, and I asked her. I said, do you know my Father, the Lord Jesus Christ? And she said yes. So I told her, I said, God hears your cry. And he sees your thoughts, and he told me that he would never leave you nor forsake you. And I prayed, Father, that you would calm her spirit and calm her soul in hopes of you making her whole. And it was 2 days later that she left me in this prison-like cell with all these funky kind of death smells. But y'all, listen, Father, my life had changed in seconds. But these people really need to know that life can change in seconds. It was 5 cuts too many, body tempered and tortured, my mind embracing each moment, so consciously optimistic, and my spirit, it was on autopilot. But I know that all these things work together for the good of them who love you and are called according to your purpose. So why do you stop this? I'm supposed to be your child, the one you loved, the one you hung and you died for. But I believe you, and I still believe you, but I kind of hold on to my belief in you. So when I was in that hospital, I put on the full armor, and I knew we were at war. We were fighting over the territory of my mind and my body. But it was not my will, but yours be done. I know some things about you. You can make it rain, and you can take that water and make it into wine. And I've seen you give sight to the blind. But one thing remains, a decision. I have a decision to make. But I thought I already chose life over death and you over everything else. Nah. And I said to you, hey, yo, you, please tell me what to do. But if you tell me to cut her off, I promise you I'll do it. And why? Because I know if you tell me to cut her off, that you would give me the grace, the peace, and the understanding to withhold everything that wouldn't belong. But I guess that rule still applies if I would have kept what you gave me, that you would give me the grace, the peace, and the understanding to withhold everything that would go along. especially if it would have made me permanently Mrs. Limp. It was crazy because it was the decision that we made, that I made. That night I slept. So that 7 a.m. sun, it kissed my face and it warmed my heart. So much so I knew I made a good decision. So I told everybody, I was like, we gotta tell everybody, I'm cutting her off. I'm losing a part of me that I didn't need. Every time I go down on my knees and I'm asking for help, think of it like a spiritual purge manifested in the physical. And I'm cool with that because, you know, we decided this thing together. And Father, I know it took me forever to see, but it was just you and me this whole time. And it was the night before cutoffs. It was major surgery. I had my soldiers with me, and we looked to the hills, we counted our help, and we humbled ourselves and prayed. And I was crying funeral tears, and I was happy though this time. But it was crazy because those medical professionals never told me how high they were going to cut. That's when I knew I had major faith. Will I have a need? I'll never know. But that prayer was, Father, please, give me the peace that passes all understanding. For example, Father, give me the type of peace that makes faculty at Berkshire School look at me and say, can't believe she's still here, but she's still smiling. Give me the type of peace that allows the Berkshire student to look at me and be like, Miss Satchel, you're always smiling. You're always happy. Even in your hardest days, and other people in the community be like, I guess you never missed a step. But that was the peace that I was praying for. And that was the peace that I received. Yo, my life, it changed. Yo, it changed in seconds, and these people, they really, really need to know that life, it can really change in seconds. My whole life changed. And I know that because although I'm part robot now, I still have feelings, and I know I never let them see it. But hopefully they'll see my heart. And excuse the cracks and the mispitched and the off-hit notes, but this is for you, Father. I really want these people to see my heart, and to see where my joy and my strength comes from. That night, this is what was on my heart. The more I seek you, the more I find you. And the more I find you, the more I love you. And I want to sit at your feet and drink from the cup in your hand. Lay back against you and breathe and feel your heartbeat. And this love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I melt in your peace, it's overwhelming. But it's your joy and peace that overtakes me. It's your strength that keeps me going. And no longer was I in that prison-like cell with all those funky kind of death smells, and I can't believe it because it was 8 surgeries and a couple months later, infections and a MRSA scare, concussion and a partially fractured nose. And this time, it wasn't those funky kind of death smells anymore. And Father, their issues don't have to be this magnetized or publicized for them to take something from my story, take something from my journey. And I'm here to let them know, though, I'm a regular girl. But I'm probably not too regular because I hope to be an Olympian. I'm bold, I know, and I really never played volleyball before, but it's probably another reason why I need you. I'm still on this journey in hopes to be a member of the U.S. City Volleyball team in 2020. I know I'm bold and I believe in myself, and I really believe that I'm going places where no one has ever gone before, and I really plan to do things that no one has ever done before. And it was the shadows of death that tried to get me, but they couldn't. Because your Father, He was always with me, and I have constantly reminded myself that I'm not alone. Woo! because many times I really felt alone. It was crazy because when I was in this prison-like cell with all these, actually it was just me and those funky kind of death smells, I had to remind myself that I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me and you will never leave me. You're amazing and you redeem me and you call me as your own. And I am not alone. I am not alone. It was you who went before me and you have never left me. And this is my favorite part. You're amazing. And that means I'm alive and I'm still here and I'm definitely still breathing. And that's crazy. You're amazing and you redeem me. That means you snatched me from the hands of depression and you allow myself to be myself. Because I'm definitely Miss Satchel, Miss Chi, Miss Child, Miss Satchie, Miss Satch Patch, and of course Miss Satchel. It's crazy because you said, and he called me. It was crazy. Because it means I'm different. And sometimes I may find myself by myself, but the fact is that I'm a Christian and I love God. I don't drink and I don't smoke, and I do find myself sometimes doing a Netflix and chill. But I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. And that was the end of my conversation with my father. But yo, y'all really need to know that my life changed in a couple seconds. And yo, people need to know that life can change in a second. If you never heard, if you didn't hear anything I said, just know that in every step of your journey, there's something to celebrate. Because even in my lowest times, I learned something. I don't stand before you as a finished product. I actually stand before you broken, bruised, hurt, and sometimes embarrassed. But it's okay because unlike all those untold stories out there, my story, me, we're definitely free. And life can change in a moment, and I don't think y'all really understand it because there was a time that I couldn't clean feet, wipe myself, brush my teeth, and tend to myself, celebrate what you have because in moments it could be gone. And because I didn't really fear pain, I embraced it. Because every time I felt pain, I knew that life is still existing. I'm not trying to preach to you, I promise you that. I'm just trying to tell my story in hopes that someone would be encouraged and push past that pain and the hurt and hopefully find joy. There's these bracelets I wear. And the first one reminds me of a man that I met here. And it says, keep working. What does that mean to me? It means that sometimes we're up, and many times we may find ourselves down. But that does not give us permission to stop moving forward. And the other bracelet, it says celebrate your journey. And this is something that I have made. Because I believe in every situation we may find ourselves. Young or old, black or white, rich or poor, who gives? Thank you for not saying who gives. Okay.